Hello, it is I, the Quackatary Blip. Nah, man, it's me, Caveman Doug. Happy 2024, and welcome to the first edition of High as a Kite. And today, you can't scare me because we just watched Goosebumps episode 8. You can't scare me. And now, I would like to introduce you to my special buddy, Alvin. Hello, Alvin. Yeah, and as you saw, panning to Alvin is my broadcast partner out in the field. The one, the only, the Quackatary Blip Jr., or as I like to call him, Cartoon Plural, the King of Games 98.
Thanks, Caveman. Ickle rain!
It is. The weather said so.
Thank you for confirming that.
Caveman Doug, peace, love, pickles.
Okay, so Goosebumps, episode 8, You Can't Scare Me. Wow. This episode was like a roller coaster of emotions.
Yeah, man.
Like, it went from a horror movie to then, like, really heartwarming and, like, pulling at my heartstrings.
It made me completely forget about the dumpster fire we watched before this. Krampus 2.
And that's saying something.
Not really, that movie was garbage, man.
I tried really hard to hold that in, but I couldn't. I'm sorry, I couldn't. Oh, wow. Okay. So...
Live from Glendora! It's raw and uncut, man. I love you. Peace, love, fried pickles.
And I bet you thought he was going to say it's Saturday Night Live. Nope.
Because it's Friday. Saturday Night Live, man, that's tomorrow on NBC. Sponsor us, please. Love you. Love you.
So Goosebumps episode 8, You Can't Scare Me. Wow. So this obviously picked up from where the last episode did.
And we haven't watched it in a while, so...
Yes.
I'm really glad they did the recap, so...
I'm glad they also did the recap. So... Nora... Or no, I'm sorry, not Nora. Margot, Isaiah, Lucas...
James... Izzy.
Isabel... Am I forgetting anyone?
No, that's the group.
Okay. They're all stuck in the book. And Biddle being... Or, I'm sorry. Brat being controlled by Biddle is driving after Nora because he learns that Nora has Slappy. Stabby.
That's what I call him in the games.
This is true. And I found it hysterical that she was literally carrying him in a bag because he was all apart in pieces.
Oh, and then she got stopped. She's in a cabin, and I guess he was a park ranger.
Yeah.
He goes, "Is that a body?" And she goes, "It's a dummy." And he's like, "Oh, okay. I still have to check the bag." And then as she's doing it, he's reaching for his taser. Mm-hmm. She dumps him out, and he's like, "Oh, okay, I just had to make sure. Sorry for the inconvenience. I didn't want to end up on Dateline."
Yeah, he legit said that. And I found it hysterical because then I think he was actually more confused and surprised
that it was an actual dummy.
And like...
Well, yeah, because his words were, "It's bigger than I thought it was."
Yeah, and then I think he said an actual line, something to the effect of, "So you're just sitting up here in your cabin by yourself?"
With a dummy?
With a dummy.
Yeah, man. 420, man. It's winter. We're getting a 6-foot dump, but he meant snow, and it sounded like a poop joke. But that's all good in 420 land. Doug style.
Okay, that is very accurate. He did actually say that line, quote, word for word, and then actually apologized for saying it like that and said that came out wrong. That was pretty funny. So that happens, and Biddle as Brat eventually catches up to Nora. There's a crazy woods chase scene. I said to him, and I quote, "This reminds me of
The Shining.
The Shining."
Although you've never seen The Shining.
I almost forgot what it's called there.
There is a scene like that.
Yeah.
But the only thing they were missing was the maze.
Okay, so I wasn't too far off then because I've never actually seen The Shining.
No,
as
the only thing you were missing was the maze.
Okay, so that was pretty cool. And, you know, Isaiah, I guess, slips at one point.
Yeah, he trips and then he falls. And then I was like, man, he'll be fine. No, bro, he's hanging off of a cliff and he still has a broken arm, like... And then he's climbing up and I'm like, geez, that has to hurt because his arm, you know. And then he looks up and all you see is, hello there, I'm Stabby the Doll. My name is Stabby, and follow me on X. Dang, dang.
Alright, not gonna lie. That was a really creepy scene. And
oh my god, that was.
the camera angle from looking up at the cliff top?
Yeah.
At the cliff top was perfect.
Oh, yeah.
Was absolutely perfect. The camera man doing that scene nailed it. He deserves a freaking award.
Oh, so when they got out of the book, they saw Biddle's parents.
Yes.
And then they're like, tell Hair Bear we forgive him. And then, I didn't want to say this watching this, but when Margot calls him Hair Bear, and he's like, why did you call me Hair Bear? It made me think of that scene from Batman vs. Superman. Martha, why did you say that name? Why did you say Martha? My mom's Martha. My mom's Martha.
I mean, he's not wrong. That was a pretty good analogy. I wish that movie was better.
See,
but
going off on a tangent about that,
but
I get what you're saying. DC does it backwards. They do the group movie, then the single. Yeah. They have to do it the Marvel way, which is... Because it started with Iron Man, and then it was the Hulk. Right. And then at the end of the Hulk, they brought in Tony Stark. Yes. And then so that's how DC had to do it. They're doing it backwards. And then, you know, Aquaman 2, I heard, was... The critics watching it said it was the worst DCEU movie that they've ever seen.
But that's besides the point. We're getting off on a tangent.
Thanks, Amber Heard.
Yeah.
Turd. Go back to Spain. But Spain don't even want her, so whatever.
Womp womp. Okay, so Goosebumps. Yeah, all that happens, dramatic climax, and then out of nowhere, Biddle as Brat reaches over, grabs Isaiah, and actually...
well, before that, yeah. Oh, yeah, no. Yeah, because they're like... Because the parents, all the parents are there. Yeah. And then they're like, you know, he pulls him up, and then his head's like doing like a Matrix glitchy thing, and then you can see it's like... It's Brat 1 second, and the next it's... Biddle. So it's like glitching. Yeah. And then so they're like... The parents are like... So the parent... This is when the parents find out that the kids know everything. Yes. And then... You know, they're like, Biddle, we messed up, you know, and then Margot's like...
AA run.
Yeah, and then Margot's like, your parents forgive you. Like,
And they can't move on.
No, it's not that they can't. They won't move on without you. And they forgive you. Yeah. And that was the turning point when he turns. Yeah. He picks up Slappy, throws him off the cliff, basically like...
Tekken.
You would know more than me because I've never played Tekken.
Oh, okay. So, real quick. If you got that reference...
It was like Vader with Palpatine at the end of Return of the Jedi.
There you go. There you go.
Minus the unlimited power.
Great. Better reference. Yes.
Yeah, and then he turns back in the burnt Biddle. Yeah. And then it was like, Anakin?
Well... Okay, that was generally really funny. But no, he like almost throws him up out of his mouth.
Oh yeah, because that's how he possessed Brett.
It like came out like smoke.
It was like the Exorcist. The Haunted. Did you ever see the Haunting in Connecticut poster? The movie? No. Where he had the thing coming out of his mouth? No. It was kind of like that.
Okay. Because I was going to describe it like it came out as smoke, but then it formed his
It was the fire that burned him that was coming out.
Yeah, okay.
And then he turned back into Anakin Biddle. Anakin Sky Biddle. Biddle Walker? Harold Biddle Walker.
He did not have the high ground.
No, he didn't. He hit the lava ground.
Yes.
And then he put his shoulder on...
Margot's...
He put his arm on Margot's mom.
Yeah.
And then it was flashing back, because they were, like, best friends.
Mm-hmm.
And then he turns back into Biddle, like, Biddle, like...
Normal
Biddle.
Like hair and everything.
So imagine, it would be like Mustafar Anakin turning into Force Ghost Anakin.
Yes.
And then they did it better than Star Wars, because of the sequels. It was like Luke and Leia standing in the Force, and then he walks over and joins them. So it was basically like, it would have been like Anakin hugging Yoda and Ben Kenobi in the Return of the Jedi scene on Endor.
Perfect analogy.
Well, I figured because they're both now Disney, so I feel like it could make the references now. So
perfect analogy.
But yeah, and then the way it ended was. And like, of course, because it was 10 episode season. This is episode 8.
Yeah.
But it ended with Slappy. Slappy's apart again, and then it does
because it's like being thrown from that height. Of course.
Oh yeah, like of course, yeah.
Of course you're gonna break.
And then so it does a close up on his head, and his eye opens, and we're like, well, of course, like there's 2 episodes, and then they showed scenes for next episode, and then I think the last line was Slappy, and he's like, "What took you so long?" So who's he talking to? Because it was like, you ever see Ghost Whisperer?
Yeah.
It was like Jennifer Love Hewitt helped the Biddle cross to the afterlife. He saw the light.
Yes.
So thank you, Jennifer Love Hewitt. She's one of those people that always stayed hot. I had a major crush. I had a major crush on Jennifer Love Hewitt while I watched that.
Oh come on, we all did. Let's go.
Oh my god, yeah, come on. I mean, it's Jennifer Love Hewitt. It's Jennifer Love Hewitt. Come on, son. But yeah, and then so my thing is, it's like, what? Now this is just the Caveman Dave theory. What if burnt Anakin, a Harold Bittlewalker, became his own entity? Like the hate became its own entity, and then that's who Slappy was talking to, and that's when he said, "What took you so long?"
So you're seriously going with letting the hate flow through you?
I'm going full Sith right now.
You heard it right there. He's going to be known as Sith Lord Doug of the Cavemen.
I like to consider myself Grey Jedi Doug.
Oh.
I walk in between.
Oh, okay.
I'm an in-betweener, if you will.
Okay, so his hair will go from brown to gray.
So I like to think of it as gray roots, one half red, the other one, I don't know, Jedi colors?
Red. No.
Blue, green.
Blue. Yeah.
So basically, I'm gonna be Mortis fathered Caveman Doug. I'm the Mortis father.
Yo, Dave Filoni, can we get this canon? Like, I want to see him in the Mando Ahsoka movie.
Right? Like, hey, you know what? I don't have to be Mortis, but I could be like a gray Jedi. Like, I guess like Ahsoka?
Yeah.
Because I guess at this point she's...
Yeah.
Or it could be like...
white-colored lightsabers.
Yeah, gray Jedi.
Yeah.
Or it could be like... those are talks for another video.
Yeah. All right. So overall, I loved this episode.
Oh no, it was really good.
I thought it was fantastic. I probably wouldn't say it was my favorite episode though, but I would definitely rank it up there among the better of these 10 episodes so far.
Episode 10 is Welcome to Horrorland.
Yeah.
I really want to see how that pans out.
Did you watch the original episode as a kid?
I remember I vaguely remember it, but I think I remember the book.
Okay.
Like a little more, because it wasn't like an amusement park or something?
It was. So I remember watching that episode as a kid, and it was very cool. Now, fast forward to like 2010, 2011, say, I was gifted the Goosebumps Horrorland video game at that time, because, I wasn't that big of a gamer at the time, so all I had was my GameCube 360 and my Wii. That was it. I was gifted that game for my Wii from it was either my parents or my aunt, one of them. And I played the hell out of that game. That game was actually really fun, and it encompassed the whole episode into a video game, but the video game was kind of like
its own story. Or was it based on?
Yeah. It kind of was its own story, but it was kind of like, have you ever heard of the WarioWare games? It's like video games, but they're all micro. Well, it's a video game with all mini games in it.
Yeah, I've never heard of that.
Okay, well, that's basically what WarioWare is. Goosebumps, the Horrorland video game,
It was basically that.
is basically that, but an amusement park.
Uh-huh.
So it was actually really fun and totally campy. I loved it so much. Even on the Wii, it was still really fun to play. So highly recommend that game. I actually own that game currently, but on PlayStation 2.
Dude, I feel like now when we pull an all-nighter at your house, we gotta play that because I feel like I need to experience this now.
You know what? I want you to experience that. I mean, look, it's not going to be the best game you ever played, okay?
Bro, if we can sit through over 3 hours, almost 3 hours of shitty Krampus movies.
Like, okay, there was one game where it like kind of encompassed like a traditional shooting gallery. Instead, though, you weren't shooting ducks
You're
or
shooting stabby in the grabby.
No, it was actually vampires.
What did vampires ever do to you? God.
Well, it was the premise of, at least I think it was a shooting gallery, or maybe it was a flashlight. I don't remember because it's been a really long time since I last played that game. But it was basically, the premise was, you got to fight to stay alive.
All right.
That was basically the premise, and it was cool. It was cool.
All right, I'm down for that.
It worked. So, okay, that's gonna do it for this review. We both thoroughly enjoyed this episode. I cannot wait for the final 2 episodes, and
Remember, if you're running on the rings of Saturn and your elephant seal loses a reel, what do? The answer is elves, because they don't like cannibals.